Hey, everyone. Hi. Hello. Welcome to another episode of Alison.
Hey now.
Greg, what are you doing here?
Hey, what do you mean? Alison,
Where'd you come from, Greg?
I came from the world of Childish, and I just want to make sure that your listeners know that you're just as wonderful on the other podcast you do.
What if they don't have kids?
Don't need them. You don't need them. A lot of our listeners actually tell us they don't have kids. We talk about sex.
We talk about all sorts of dirty stuff,
Yeah.
but also parenting stuff.
Yeah, so.
Check out Childish. New episodes every Wednesday, wherever you listen to podcasts.
Maybe I should have got it fixed. Alison Rosen is your new best friend. Alison, we'll have the good times never end. Alison Rosen, doing the wavy pencil dance again. Alison's your new best friend.
Hey, everyone. Hi. Hello. Welcome to another episode of Alison Rosen is your new best friend. This episode is going to be unlike any other in that I'm unclear whether we're going to be able to finish the episode without a number of interruptions. I'm going to take a rapid COVID test on air, and I will explain why. We may have to take some breaks as we're going. But allow me to explain everything. First of all, hello, Daniel Klotz.
Hi there.
How's it going?
It's going well. Not really. It's going okay. I mean, listen.
We may have been exposed to COVID, even though we're vaxxed, but apparently that doesn't do you much good anymore.
Right. I mean, good spirits, all things considered, is I guess what I would say.
Yeah.
Because people are still waiting to know how I'm doing. You're eager to move on. I can see it.
No.
I can see the motivation in your eyes to breeze right past this important part of the show.
Here's the thing, Daniel.
I'm doing fine. There. Okay.
Well, can I give you a little pointer?
Mm-mm.
I got to give you a note.
No.
A note. I have a note. It just came down from on high.
What is it?
The overlords of this podcast have a note for you.
I'm listening.
It is, your chair is like 6 feet away from the table. Mm-hmm. So therefore, when you talk into the microphone, you're leaned really forward. Mm-hmm. But I think in an effort to do like a mic drop, you're like, I'm fine. And then you leaned back before you were finished talking. So the sound petered out at the end. And we can't be having that.
I'm like a professional, one of those divas when they sing and they pull the microphone away. It's mic technique. Honey.
That is what you lack. Do you want me to call Jeff? I will call Jeff Fox up and he will give you a ration of shit. And Tony would too, but he's too nice.
You done? When I speak, I have this voice where it's the intimate, hello everybody, how are you? And then sometimes I get fired up and I gotta pull it away a little bit like this, and then back.
I get what you're saying.
I don't want to blow your eardrums. It's mic technique. Look it up,
honey. I appreciate that, but this was not technique. This was you being done with your sentence before you were done.
I wanted it to trail off. It was like I was doing a live fade.
You want to hear a really weird memory? So in 10th grade English, I don't know why we were talking about this though. This is the kind of thing that like you could not be talking about anymore. But I feel like the prompt was like the girl was flirtatious or the guy was flirtatious. And we were supposed to like write half a page that illustrated that or something. And then I remember having like a big old convo where we were sharing different things. And one of the signs of like a really flirtatious girl was she would talk really quietly. Oh, let me just inhale the mic, Daniel, because I've learned something from your mic technique. She would talk really quietly, so a guy had to like lean in and hear her.
And then would she give him a little smoochie?
No.
Oh.
I don't think so. Another weird memory from high school, our Spanish teacher, he was a nice guy who invited everyone over for paella at the end of the year. However, he also, when he would talk to you, he would like pinch your elbow, or he had this weird like habit of like reaching out and touching your elbow while talking to you. I just always was like, what? I had a little bit of discomfort. I don't know if I had a little bit of discomfort around him. But anyway, I remember in Spanish, he was asking this girl, do you have a boyfriend? Do you give your boyfriend a kiss at the end of the night? Besos? And I remember her name was Kimber.
Yeah.
She later got into a bad car accident, unrelated.
Jesus.
But she was so uncomfortable with this line of questioning. And why wouldn't she be?
How do you know it's unrelated? You don't know that.
It was years later.
So?
I don't know.
Maybe
You're
she
right.
was driving along and then she remembered that moment. And
She's like, Besos, and then turned the wheel.
And got the shivers.
Yeah, it's possible. None of that would be okay now. It really wasn't okay then, but, it was just one of those things you sucked up.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we have a lot of calls from listeners. So let me just explain. It is Sunday. Normally we record these on Friday. And we planned to have a babysitter this weekend. So, and she came yesterday and she was going to come today and we were going to record the show. However, we saw her yesterday. And then last night she texted me and let me know that someone she had seen the night before okay, so let me back up. We saw her Saturday. Friday night, she saw someone. Saturday night, that person suddenly lost his sense of smell. And he had been somewhere where other people who were vaccinated were positive.
He's vaccinated.
Yes, everyone in this story is vaccinated. He had come from somewhere. Well, should I just say like where the environment that he was in or no? Is that too detailed? Maybe I won't. Anyway, he had been around some people who had tested positive. However, that was like previous and he hadn't been that closely and he had been repeatedly testing and had been negative. But anyway, we had some rapid tests. So she picked one up from us and he tested last night and his test was positive. He's going to get that confirmed with like a actual molecular test. Although very recently he was testing negative. There can be false positives. That being said, the losing a sense of smell is...
But like 8 people where he was tested positive. So it's like odds are he has it. I mean, what are the odds of you losing your sense of smell?
Right. And it not being this. Yeah. So now we're freaked out because
no, I wouldn't say I'm freaked out.
I'm a bit freaked out. I am on and off. I don't know. I'm not unfreaked out. Okay, last night I was definitely catastrophizing. It's funny. Daniel was saying, and by the way, I'm not really worried about Daniel and me. I don't want to get a breakthrough infection. But I trust that I trust that the vaccine, knock on wood, will keep us from ending up in the hospital. I'm worried about my kids who are not vaccinated. Now, usually it is not serious in kids, but there are exceptions. And if, God forbid, something awful happened, and it was all because I wanted a day to myself to like ride the bike and take a shower and blah, blah, blah. Like I am excoriating myself for having had a babysitter yesterday because it wasn't absolutely necessary. And we haven't even found out anything bad yet. And I'm already like feeling an intense amount of mom guilt. And Daniel was saying that his brain would not. Here comes Elliot.
There.
Hi, what's up? Come on.
Come on in.
You can come on in. Here, you want to tell the microphone? You want to say it into the microphone? Okay.
Yeah.
So it's good. It's going to be this kind of show because we don't have any childcare today. So anyway, Elliot, tell the microphone what's going on.
My Kindle isn't working.
Okay.
Why don't you bring it in?
You want to bring it in and Daddy will fix it? It froze up. Okay, well, bring it in and Daddy can fix it. Yeah, so Daniel was saying that his brain like will not allow him to go to a dark place, whereas in my mind, like my kids are already hooked up to machines. I didn't intend to start the show that way, but
Jesus.
so anyway, And I just feel like with something like this, like you just can't fuck around. You know, it's funny because on the Thursday show, Dave Huntsberger was talking about his assessment of all of this. And he's just like, he's sort of a harbinger of doom about all of this. Like he feels like there's going to be breakthrough infections everywhere and you should do everything you can to avoid it. Whereas Wendy and I, who have older kids, are sort of comfortable with taking a little more risk. But now that I'm just going to pause this for a sec. Okay, I'm back. I forget exactly what I was saying. I think I was just saying that now that I am actually faced with like, we might actually be positive. I am finding the calculation different and I'm feeling like maybe it wasn't worth it, even though nothing bad has happened yet. Now, also during that little break when Daniel was fixing Elliot's Kindle, could you breathe less?
Sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry.
During that little interlude, Daniel informed me that this is a very grim start to the show. And he's very correct. And I did not intend to be that grim. I intended to be truthful and authentic. But instead, it got real dark real fast because my brain is an unfriendly, hoary place. And I don't mean hoary like slutting around. I mean like Hoary. Anyway, it's all going to be fine. We're going to be fine. Everything's fine.
But I want to step in for a second.
Okay.
And so these are your fears.
Yeah.
And look, given the circumstances and how much this is new and we don't really know certain things and everything feels like it's shifting and all of that. Like no one, one of the things that I feel is that people have trouble assessing the true risk, and that makes sense because how can you know, really, right? But
can I just jump in and say something real fast because I can already imagine the negative comments headed my way. Because people are going to be like, "Really? All you care about is yourself and your family? What about these people?" Blah blah blah. Yes, I am worried about them too, but they are adults who are vaccinated. So
you're talking about the people that we were in touch with.
Yeah.
Well, of course,
of course, I'm concerned about them too. I'm sorry they're going through this, but again, it's the children factor that's the part that's really freaking me out. I think people who are vaccinated are protected.
Who would criticize you for caring about the fact that we were, but being primarily concerned with the fact that we were just exposed over the people who exposed us?
Those cunty moms on the moms
Well, but
group.
whatever, they don't listen. Who cares? All right, so,
and I'm sure I got some cunty fans out there.
No, you don't.
Maybe.
You don't. You don't.
Well, the vast majority of them are wonderful.
All right, I'm going to finish what I was going to say.
I'm going to shut up.
Thank you. Guys, it's just us now. How does it feel? Here's what I want to say. Those are your fears. That said, with children, even if our boys were exposed and were to get sick from it, the severity for them, just risk-wise, is incredibly low.
Mm-hmm.
It like this idea that somehow if they got it, they'd end up in an ICU. Like, yes, it's possible, but it really is a very low risk. And I'm not saying like, look, everybody has to make the assessment on their own, and it's don't take my word for it. I'm not an epidemiologist, but I don't want to be putting fear out there. Like, I don't want to heighten the fear. I don't want to lower it either. It's like, this is just how you feel. If that's how you feel, go ahead and act on your best instincts.
Are you talking to me or them?
Yeah, you or anybody.
Yeah.
But, understand, like, Dave Huntsberger was like, even if they get sick and are okay, that doesn't mean that they're going to be okay in 5 years. We don't know. So there's still a lot of things to consider. But this idea that somehow,
which I wasn't really on board with that level of fear.
Well, yeah. And so, but this idea that somehow like we could be staring at like a week from now, one of our boys is on a ventilator. Like,
no, that's insane. But I can't. But it's like, in my brain.
But one of the reasons my brain won't go there is because of how unlikely that is. That's all. I
would like your brain.
Well, all right. So anyway, that's what's going on.
Yeah. So, I want to say again, I don't mean to be alarming anyone.
It's just, it sounded to me, maybe because I'm your husband and they're my kids, it sounded like you basically just pulled the alarm, and I just want to like pump the brakes a little bit. Like,
yeah, I was trying to explain that is where my head goes.
Yeah.
I don't think that's realistic at all. It is 100% not realistic.
But I want to say, like, I have done a little bit of reading since last night and talked to a friend of my mom's who is my mom talked to her and who is an ICU nurse and gets all the updates and is very on top of this and knows she's in the thick of it. And so it is, look, the Delta variant is, I mean, it's serious. We're going to see real soon, like numbers like we saw at the height of this thing. Mm-hmm. And just because you're vaccinated does not mean that you won't get sick. It just means that you probably won't end up in the hospital.
Yeah, that's a paradigm shift for me that occurred in the last 12 hours because my thing has been like, let's just avoid this if we can. And it seems that the lengths you have to go to 100% avoid it are not feasible for most people.
And it seems as though there is a growing feeling that everybody will eventually, because of how out of control this is, how everybody abandoned all of the precautions, and then there's, half the country who just refuses to get vaccinated, that everyone is going to get it.
Eventually.
And so I'm not saying go out and get it because of that. I'm just saying, like, don't be surprised if a lot of people who are vaccinated, or you start hearing about a lot of people who are vaccinated who get like the flu symptoms, because that's what it'll be like. It's just that it won't be go to the hospital, get on a ventilator. It'll just be you get sick and it goes away. That's kind of what I've been hearing. But this is just what I'm hearing. This is not official anything.
So I do want to move on in a moment though, but I just want to say, to justify my freak out that I had in the early part of the show, as a mom and a human and a woman and a person,
arguable,
an
but
American,
we'll stipulate these things.
Podcaster, former Olympian, an equestrian, a swimmer, a javelin thrower.
Oh, come on. Have you ever thrown anything?
I threw a shot put in 8th grade. Not very far.
Was it like one of those duck pin bowling balls or something?
I don't know what the duck pin bowling ball is, but it was like a very heavy ball that was around the size of a baseball, and you hold it up to your shoulder and then you push it and it goes like. Oh,
did you do the spin?
Yeah, discus. Come on, did that?
No.
Oh, is there a spin? There's
a spin move. The shot putters.
Not this shot putter. This shot putter just went like bunted it.
Anyway,
a bunt is a sports move, right?
It's baseball.
Yeah,
yes.
when you just take the bat and you just like gently touch it.
Can you finish your thought, please?
Probably not. No. I've just, as all those people, I've spent all this time trying to avoid this virus. So it feels like a failing. Right now. I also would like everyone to know I have been drinking a lot more water. And that is why I'm the picture of mental health and health right now.
Yeah. And
have you noticed my water drinking, Daniel?
No. Here's the thing. This is one of the takeaways I took away, which is load up on C, vitamin C, zinc, get Mucinex, cough drops, and drink lots of water.
I personally think I will be finishing this thought
strong.
I personally think that's not going to do anything, but I'm on board with it because it certainly doesn't hurt.
It helps to get your immune system strong, does it not?
Well, yeah, but I just don't know that all that does any of that.
You don't think that... Okay. You know what? Okay, anti-science over here.
Anyway, I'm going to take a rapid test on air because I have had a headache and a bit of a throat ache. Now, I have changed one of my thyroid meds, and I have my period, if you must know. So,
you're the kind of person that's like, oh, my stomach hurts. Maybe I have COVID.
No, I'm
and it's
not.
like, well, you'll say some symptom that is not a COVID symptom, and then you'll be like, did I get COVID?
Excuse me, sir.
You just did this like last week, and I'm like, honey,
I did?
Yeah, or just even days ago, and I was like, honey, you're on your period, and you're like, oh yeah.
I think it was yesterday, and I said
No,
I had
it was
a headache.
before. No, it was days before.
Well, I think
You're just saying.
painting a picture of me as a hypochondriac. And I think I'm actually one of my better qualities, no judgment, maybe a little. I'm a lot of things, but I'm actually not a hypochondriac.
You're a moderate chondriac.
Really?
You're like not
you
a
think
hypochondriac.
you have cancer all the time.
You're not a hyperchondriac.
Hypo. I know. Okay.
But you're like...
I complain about things, but I'm not a hypochondriac. Give me one example besides that. Give me one more example.
Well, I haven't really been keeping records of all the... It's just like a steady like background noise in our lives.
I am a steady background noise in our lives.
I don't know. Look, I don't know.
Let's listen to a call.
Okay.
If you would like to call into the show, 323-553-2331.
Hi, Alison and Daniel. This is Isaac calling from Kansas. Big fan of the show. I have been for years. But I'm just calling to say that I'm doing really well.
I paused it to say, must be nice.
For the first time in like a year and a half. I'm vaccinated. I went to Washington State to visit my brother. And it was really great to spend 3 weeks not living with my parents. I've been living with my parents all pandemic, and I'm starting to really get ready to move out. I've been seeing friends again and dating around, and it's just been I'm looking forward to the future again, I should say. So love you guys. By the way, this is Isaac. Bye.
Congrats, Isaac.
Yeah.
That's great.
I mean, I feel for all these young folks.
Yeah.
That's got to be rough, living with the folks. I would just say, Isaac, like, I don't mean to be Debbie Downer over up in this, but like, you know, for a while here, let's put our masks on when you're inside. Seriously. Like, I know I'm not ready to say everyone needs to lock it down and go back into quarantine, you know, especially, you know, I don't know, if you're like young and you had to live with your folks for a year and a half and now you're finally, it's like, I get it. But part of what like got this guy COVID that we were in touch with was somebody went to a party and everyone was vaccinated. So I would just say like the you know, go out, see your friends, but be smart. That's all I'm saying. Wear your mask.
I almost
inside.
want to just ask Tony to cut your response out.
Why?
Because you are being a Debbie Downer. And I feel that the grim beginning of the show is the lecture that they need if they really need a lecture.
Okay.
Live your life, Isaac. I'm not gonna cut it out. I'm not gonna.
You cut it out?
You.
No.
I'm not gonna censor you.
You're not gonna hurt my feelings.
I'm gonna leave it in. I'm gonna leave it in.
Oh God.
I feel that eye roll right there was contempt, which, according to the Gottman Institute, who they're real big on Instagram and everyone studies them, it's one of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse of a relationship. It's contempt.
Mm-hmm. Check.
Fuck. What are the other ones? Doing a podcast together.
Check.
Having 2 young children.
Uh-oh.
And having a dog named Wendy. Fuck. Want me to look up what they are?
No.
I think I have to now. And then I'm going to do this test. And then we got more calls, and then you have a Kewl Beanz. I mean, there's a lot. We got a lot of fun stuff. I know you have not heard any of it yet, people, but just you wait. Okay. Gottman Institute for Horsemen of the Apocalypse. Where does a reference the 4 horsemen come from?
Book of Revelations.
I haven't read that one. Okay. So here you go. Criticism.
Mm-hmm.
Contempt.
Mm-hmm.
Defensiveness.
Mm-hmm.
And stonewalling. Again with the breathing.
I don't know if
we don't
I
really
understand
have those.
stonewalling, like just not meeting the needs of the partner. Or does it mean like?
Let's see.
Does it mean sending the police after gay activists?
No, it's
Because we're not doing that in our relationship.
Well, not yet. Let's see. The 4th horseman is stonewalling, which is usually a response to contempt. Stonewalling occurs when the listener withdraws from the interaction, shuts down, and simply stops responding to their partner rather than confronting the issues, blah, 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 blah. We actually, Daniel and I, but just to fully get into it, Daniel and I both sometimes are tempted to shut down. Maybe every human is.
It's normal.
Yeah,
That's
I think
so
every human
normal.
is. And something we both work on in this relationship is fighting the urge to shut down. In fact, sometimes I am telling this story to illustrate how enlightened I am and like what a great person I am.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, I really want to shut down right now, and I'm like trying not to.
Yeah.
Like I just want to go crawl into bed and say goodnight.
It helps to acknowledge it.
It does. All right. Should I take this thing now?
Yeah. Sorry to bum you out, Isaac. I'm happy for you. I'm just, we're in a state right now.
We're in a state.
You caught us on a bad day.
Is that a song?
Yeah.
What is it?
It's by the Rolling Stones.
Oh.
Caught me on a bad day.
Sing more of it.
You caught me on a bad day over here up in this motherfucker.
Okay. So this is a Binax Now kit, which I purchased at CVS. And I have this little dropper, and I'm supposed to put 6 drops on this card. So here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Really requires some strength.
It really does. 4, 5, 6. Okay. I almost want to put a 7th one for good measure, but all right. And now I'm going to take the swab. We've only ever done cheek swab tests.
This is fun. This is like one of those like Japanese like mini food kits that they sell where you mix like the little thing and then you put it in a mold and then sticking Q-tip.
Oh my God, it's so tickly. I mean, it's supposed to go 3/4 of an inch in my nose and then just swirl it around for 5 seconds. Oh my God, it feels really funky.
This is oddly sexy.
Oh, I gotta do the other one now. My eye is fully watering. Oh my God.
Jesus Christ. Such a wuss. You are such a wuss.
Oh my God. Okay. Now I gotta stick this in here. Okay, and then spin it 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Okay, let me double check. I look like I'm crying. My eyes are.
Don't waste any time.
Because of the show or because
of the test. I don't want it to get fouled up because you're jibber jabber.
Simmer down, please. I just got to make sure I put it in the right place. Okay. So then I peel the adhesive. Okay. And then I stick this thing closed.
Ooh, look at that. This thing is pretty fun. Everyone should take these as much as possible.
Yeah. So, all right. So then I leave that flat. Can you time out 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And while we do this, I am going to dab at my eyes and my nose.
Okay, 15 minutes.
Get all in that mic.
It wasn't important.
Okay. Can you do some talking while I blow my nose and wipe at my eyes?
Sure. All right. So this thing is so fun. It looks like a pregnancy test. What if?
But also like a lollipop.
Yeah, it's like a pregnancy lollipop.
Okay, I'm back. I suspect that I'm going to be negative. I really don't think I have
I
it.
don't think that we are outside of the period where it's not viable. It's not, or it's not like.
No, in my mind, it's like, what if I had it from when I went and got coffee with my new friend Mary Lynn Rice Cub and didn't wear a mask inside that one day, even though that was a while ago.
My understanding is that the test tests for the antigens, and we won't be, even if we are positive, our bodies won't create those for another few days. So you're probably going to get a negative. With
these tests can give a false sense of security.
Yeah, that's the thing about these tests. Is like, if you get a negative on the test, that doesn't mean you're negative. But if you get a positive, it's probably a positive.
So
that's like,
talk about something else.
Okay.
I'd
love to talk about something else.
Should we tell them? Do you hate me right now?
No. Why would I hate you?
I don't know.
I'm just really bored with you. I don't hate you.
What's the difference?
Oh, who's here? Come in.
Perfect. Hi, honey. What's going on?
Hi, honey, love.
Come say it into the microphone.
Because you're cute.
Okay.
Yes, tell me. I want to green at a game.
All right, come over here.
Maybe we should pause it. Yeah. And we're back. How much time on the timer?
10 minutes.
Okay. I feel like there's certain episodes that are just great episodes for everyone to listen to, and there's certain ones where you gotta already be into the show to enjoy it. And I am worried that and I say enjoy loosely, I'm worried that this one is the latter. So if anyone new has trickled in, just know it's not usually like this. This is an unusual one. It's uniquely bad. This is a uniquely terrible episode you've stumbled onto. I'm just kidding. But if you like what you're hearing, please leave us a nice comment, 5 stars. Daniel and I have officially named our Patreon bonus episodes. So if you normally enjoy the show, I think you normally would enjoy our Patreon bonus episodes, and we're calling them the Friend Zone. We might need some art. We might need a song. I don't know yet. And then Friends with Benefits is what I'm calling my patrons, because I am on Patreon. Patreon.com/Alison Rosen. Weekly bonus episodes, Zoom parties. There's a level where you can text me, and I will text you back. And also, when I do the show via remote, Thursday, you get to watch it. You get Thursday show videos. Now, I was doing fewer remotes, but I'm back to remotes for a little while now. So back to the videos. Anyway, you know what is great at a time like this? A super duper wonderful night's sleep.
Oh, yeah.
Sleep is honestly my favorite thing. Sleep is my favorite thing. And you know what allows me to have amazing sleep? A purple mattress. You sleep cool and comfortable no matter what the world throws at you, because only purple mattresses have the grid. It's a unique ventilated design that allows air to flow through to help you sleep cool, even when it feels like 1,000 degrees out. I don't know if it feels like 1,000 degrees out or if it is 1,000 degrees out, but it's hot as... what's a really, really hot thing that I can say right now? It's hot as microwaved broccoli with the steam in the bag kind. That doesn't cool off for days. The grid is amazingly supportive for your back and legs while cushioning your shoulders, neck, and hips. And unlike memory foam, the grid bounces back as you move and shift. Elliot took it, but I have a little sample of the purple grid that I love to like squish and show people while I'm talking about it. It's just really, really innovative. And also, the purple mattress is risk-free with free shipping and returns, and financing is available too. Purple is comfort reinvented. Right now, you'll get 10% off any order of $200 or more. Go to purple.com/bestfriend10 and use promo code bestfriend10. That's purple.com/bestfriend10, promo code bestfriend10 for 10% off any order of $200 or more. Purple.com/bestfriend10, promo code bestfriend10. Terms apply. Okay, let's listen to another voicemail. And then I think it's time for some DCQ. No? DCB.
Hi, Alison and Daniel. It's Maureen. I was just calling. I saw that you posted on Instagram to just do a check-in. I am having an issue right now with what's going on with the whole Delta variant and everything. I just was in New York. I live out of state. I was in New York for the past 2 weeks with family who I haven't seen for a very long time for my youngest sister's wedding. She just did a backyard wedding in my parents' backyard, just, to be safe, and it was limited and everything like that. But it was just honestly so great to see everybody. And now I'm getting stressed out what this school year is going to be for my kids, what's going to look like for me. So I'm just a little bit stressed, but hanging in there. It's just hard coming off of such a great week where things are starting to feel normal to go back to possibly this. Anyway, it's Maureen again. Bye.
We cannot relate. Sorry, Maureen.
Chill out, Maureen. Don't get your panties in a twist. Yes, I love the mention of the name at the beginning and the end.
It's just the best.
Thank you, Maureen. Yeah, I hear you. For a second, I was thinking having gone back to living our lives normally and now maybe having to go backwards, that's the worst thing ever. And then I was thinking, it's really not, though. I mean, it's not great, but my spirits are definitely better.
Well, it's going to be hard for people if we
in the thick of it.
If we said to people right now, we have to go back into a full quarantine, that's different. And I think people would really have a hard time. There'd be a lot of panicky folks out there. Or no, not panicky. What's the thing where you just have a breakdown?
Psychotic?
No, but it would be very hard for people. It looks like, though, I know Pfizer is trying to get the Biden administration to approve a third boost or a second booster, I guess it would be the third shot.
Right.
And it looks more and more like probably this winter there will be a third shot, and that the way, because we completely fucked the pooch from the very beginning on handling COVID, that the horse is never going to be back in the barn.
Oh my God, that's so many metaphors.
We fucked the horse, and now the horse gave birth to a horse that's out of the barn. And the old saying. And that we're pretty much just going to have to get boosters every year.
Okay, so I had to look up Screw the Pooch because I just wanted to know where it came from. 1950s, from earlier Fuck the Dog.
Oh.
Parentheses, fritter, waste time, 1935. Compare fuck around.
Because we fucked the dog.
It was, but this is from Wiktionary, so I don't know. But popularized by use by Tom Wolfe in The Right Stuff and the film adaptation, The Right Stuff.
Okay. But anyway, to finish what I was saying. By next year, so you go, well, we're going to have to go back in quarantine. By next year, it's believed that our health community, everybody will have their hands around this such that we will be getting boosters every year, and that it'll just be something we live with. And
but again, we are not epidemiologists. We don't know anything. This is coming from your mom's friend who is an ICU nurse. That seems like accurate info, but I just want to make it clear that
but also that guy who's the epidemiologist who's was the one talking about the Israel.
Oh yeah, Eric Fageldang.
Yeah, Fageldang.
Dang Feigl.
Yeah, Dang Fageldang was saying that it looks like this is what it's going to be. So,
all right, let's.
I'm just saying we're all going to have to just find a way for this to work for us.
DCB, Daniel's Cool Beans.
Before we get into
time.
Daniel's Cool Beans, let me just say up front, the situation I'm in as a human.
Oh, a human and an equestrian?
So I was told to start doing these by a certain tyrant. And
who?
Ball and chain.
Who?
And who got so excited about it that she commissioned a theme song. And as everybody knows, once you have a theme song, you're going to do the thing forever. You're never going to not be able to do the thing.
I don't like your tone.
So now I had to cook up a Cool Beans. I'm just giving look. I'm not sure how this is going to play. I have no idea.
You're just trying to do a disclaimer. I get it.
It's a disclaimer.
Listen, I had some red lentils this week, so I was going to take over if I had to, because they it turned into dal, and I don't even know what dal is. I had to look it up. It was just a big old mush, and I don't
think anybody wants to hear your Cool Beans reviews, honey.
I know, but they started as discrete, separate beans, and then they turned into just a big paste. That's fascinating.
Explain to the audience how you're qualified to explain your thoughts on beans.
I'm your wife.
Okay, sorry. All right, let's go. All right, let's move along. Cool Beans?
And now it's time for Daniel's Cool Beans.
Black beans, kidney beans, pinto beans, and lima beans, red beans, mung beans, navy beans, and fava beans. Really be nice or really be mean. It's time for Daniel's Cool Beans.
All right, I want to first address a controversy. Dean and Jean from the International Bean Society, or IBS, have recently dug up a very old tweet of mine wherein I compared lima beans to the Holocaust. Obviously, this was a joke, but as there's a no tolerance policy for Holocaust comparison in the IBS community, I've been kicked out.
Oh, timer.
Timer.
Well, so now you read it between 15 minutes and 30 minutes, but I'm negative.
Okay.
It's a shock.
What this means to you, dear listener, is that I am no longer a certified beans critic, and therefore my beans thoughts, if given, may come to you as a startling wind that quickly dissipates, as they will not have the heft and potency that would come with IBS. Therefore, I am going to pivot and focus my efforts on beans outreach and awareness, and I'll be doing this with my new feature, Beans in the News.
It's Beans in the News. Alison Rosen, as your new best friend, brings you bean news from Daniel.
Breaking news, beans. All right, here we go.
Okay.
Popular bean feed founder passes away. Sonora, California, a beloved figure in the Tuolumne County community has died at the age of 94. For 30 years, Galen Mutzner put on the annual Mutz Beans feed.
Is his name Galen Mutzber or just Galen?
Mutzner, honey.
But just Galen Mutzner.
Mutt is in quotes.
Oh.
Mutt is his nickname. They
and
call him Mutt.
Snur is his last name? I'm so confused.
Mutzner. His last name is Mutzner.
Oh.
They call him Mutt. Called him
it
Mutt.
Was Galen, quote, Mutt, unquote, Mutzner.
Do I need to pronounce the quotes?
No, I was just...
I thought I was doing the inflection.
I was I'm off my game.
Galen Mutzner put on the annual Mutz Bean Feed in downtown Sonora each December. In an interview in 2017, he said he thought it would be a fun idea to set up a pot on a sidewalk on a Friday and offer beans to anyone who stopped by. People loved it. And he continued for 30 years. Mutzner noted in an interview,
Jesus.
People say that this is the biggest social event in Tuolumne County, and they love to come.
Where is Tuolumne County?
No idea. North. Neighboring counties refer to the days afterward as the annual Stinkening.
Oh, I like that.
And refer to the county as Poolumne. All right. Our condolences to the Mutzner family. In other news, Roger Daltrey, frontman for The Who, told someone that he contracted pneumonia during the photo shoot for one of their albums, their album, The Who Sell Out,
Oh, I know
after
that one.
sitting in a big can of baked beans all day.
Oh, wow.
He recalled, we'd just come back from Hawaii on the Herman's Hermits tours. We'd only been home for 5 days. I drew the short straw of getting to sit in the baked beans. Unfortunately for me, the beans had been put in cold storage. They were freezing cold, and after sitting in them for an hour, my teeth were chattering.
He sat in Kewl Beanz.
Exactly. So they put an electric fire on my back. By the end, I was literally cooking. I did get very sick from that. Many in the community are pointing out that it was the cold that caused the pneumonia, and it is very safe at responsible temperatures to plunge yourself in a giant vat of baked beans.
What community? The bean
The
community?
beans community. In other news,
Oh, my God. Wow.
the world is one step closer to having a bean emoji. How often have you sent a text and reached for an emoji that expressed your passion for beans? Activists have finally convinced the Emoji Governing Council of the importance of beans representation and will likely be adding it to the next emoji batch, along with an emoji of a pregnant man that is there to piss off Republicans. That's it for Beans News.
You need a sign off.
And that's the beans. I'm out of here.
That was very good. Daniel,
Yeah.
some podcasts, some history podcasts have gotten busted for not sharing their sources.
Okay, so the first story was from...
About Mutzner?
It was from mymotherload.com, a local paper of some sort.
In
From
Poolumne?
Poolumne. The second story was from BlueMountainEagle.com. And the third story is from TheTakeout.com.
Thank you.
Actually, the last one I wrote. So but
That was
I-
really
I
good. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. When I do news, when I did news back on that show,
Mm-hmm.
and then also on Childish We Do News, I don't always share where it's from. Sometimes I do.
I
It
would
just
like to say
depends.
I did take some liberty with the.
Oh, you
with
did?
some of those.
Oh, so you made it up.
No.
So there's not a bean community.
It's up to you to decide what's true and what's not true.
Well, at first I thought you were just reading from the story, and then I realized, oh no, this is you.
There's a little bit of
Yeah.
editing on my part.
Daniel, that was delightful. Let's listen to another voicemail. I did say that they could send in a joke if they wanted.
Ooh.
Hey, fellas and ladies. Got a joke for you. As far as I know, it's the only one I ever came up with. Anyway, what does HPV and a dark sense of humor have in common? If it weren't for me, my wife wouldn't have it.
That's pretty funny.
It's funny.
It's funny. Thank you. We didn't get your name, but that's okay.
Alison, my new best friend.
Hey, look, I'm down here in Lafayette, Louisiana, and it is hot as balls,
Bulls.
as I'm sure it is in your area. How many shirts do you go through a day? How many panties do you go through a day? Hell, I even bought these underarm liners. They're like pads that you wear under your armpits. It's kind of disgusting, kind of gross. How are you beating the heat? What's up, Daniel? Peace.
I mean, I feel like Louisiana's got to be one of the most
Sticky.
Humid.
Yeah.
It's thankfully it did get a little humid last week, but generally it's not that humid out here. It's one of the nice things about SoCal.
I beat the heat by never going in it. I live my life indoors. Occasionally I have to run from the house to the studio. With the exception of now having to go to this class with Owen that is outside. Get this, everyone. I have started wearing a tank top. And I'm someone who doesn't wear tank tops, but it is so hot that I have been forced out of my comfort zone. It's just one of the many casualties that climate change has thrust upon us. I have to wear tank tops.
I actually feel like it hasn't been abnormally hot here.
It is. It just is abnormally hot here. It's too hot. Burbank is hot.
Burbank has been hotter. Like global temperatures are higher than they've ever been, but right here, right now, Jesus Jones, they have been. Actually, I feel like pretty average.
You are such a bummer that you can't even let me have this bummer.
The reason I'm saying that is because you're a weakling.
Oh, I am.
When it comes to heat.
Oh my God! I mean, I think we shared that when our AC went out. When I was pregnant with Elliot, initially I was pregnant with twins, and then one of them decided it didn't want to join this world. But anyway, our AC went out in a heat wave, and I was, I'm sure, unbearable to be around. Like I had a bigger freak out that I'm having over this potential COVID exposure.
Mm-hmm. That was brutal.
Me or the heat?
You. Because I had to go to get like portable air conditioning units, and they were sold out everywhere.
I didn't know they were sold out everywhere.
Yeah, I finally found some, and those things are such a pain in the ass because you got to like vent. You got to attach the vent to the window, and it's like they barely cool the room, and they're so fucking heavy.
Yeah, and
oh my God, I had to haul them up and down the stairs.
Air conditioner repair people had like 3-week waits. We called so many of them, and they had to get a special part. It was just a true nightmare.
Yeah, although now I've seen enough of those like hacks where you can get some tubes. Some copper tubes and a fan and a cooler and put a bunch of ice and water in the cooler and then put the tubes in there and then basically run a pump and pump the ice water through the tube that's coiled around the front of the fan, and then the fan, it basically becomes an air conditioner.
That's really cool. You know what else is really cool?
What?
BetterHelp Online Therapy. Alison Rose is your new best friend is sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. As we begin to see the light at the end of the COVID tunnel, a lot of people are still feeling down and emotionally out of sorts. I think this episode is a testament to the fact that I certainly am. You may not feel depressed or at a total loss, or maybe you do, but if you're feeling a little bit off or your relationships are suffering, that could be a sign you should talk to somebody. Online therapy can help. I think you guys know I am a huge, huge fan of therapy. It has helped me immensely. I recommend it to everyone. I really do think everyone could benefit from it. Even if it's just a short amount of sessions, I think that everyone could benefit from knowing themselves a little bit better. If you're open to it. So BetterHelp is really great. You fill out a questionnaire to help them better assess your needs and match you with a professional licensed therapist. You can start communicating in under 48 hours. It is more convenient and more affordable more convenient and more affordable than in-person therapy, and financial aid is available. If you don't feel like your first therapist is a good match, it's easy and free to change therapists as needed. I have 2 friends who are doing BetterHelp therapy because these past many months, it's been, therapists have these huge wait lists because so many people are needing help. But BetterHelp, like I said, you can get, you can start talking to someone in 48 hours, under 48 hours. So I have 2 friends who are doing it, and they love it. They've been helped immensely. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/bestfriend. That's BetterHelp, betterhelp.com/bestfriend. Again, that's betterhelp.com/bestfriend. Okay. Should we listen to another message? I think we should.
Hi, Alison and Daniel. This is Julia calling from Maryland. I just saw your post on Twitter about letting you know how we're doing. I am currently pregnant, 6 weeks pregnant, so I'm excited. We're planning on it. However, this is a pregnancy after a miscarriage earlier this year, so we're very cautiously optimistic. So excited, but, waiting for confirmation from the doctor to get really excited. But I have a question for you. This morning sickness is kicking my ass. I don't know how women do this. This is insane. Do you have any suggestions for getting through morning sickness and also maintaining a life for the next 9 months? I don't know how to go about the day without collapsing in front of the toilet. Any advice would be wonderful. Love your show. Been listening for forever. Again, this is Julia from Maryland. Thanks so much. Bye.
Julia, congratulations.
Yeah.
That is wonderful. I completely understand wanting to be guarded with your excitement after a loss. And I'm so sorry to hear about your miscarriage. That's got to be a real mind fuck, for lack of a better word, to have a miscarriage and then to get pregnant and to feel almost like
dread.
Am I even gonna trust that this baby is real until I see the baby? So I totally get it. And of course, as it goes on and as your numbers increase and things like that, I think you'll feel more confident. But that morning sickness, you're the second person I've talked to today who is experiencing morning sickness around this zone. Because again, you guys, my Patreon people that I text, there's a secret pregnancy in there. But I remember, I think it's 6-7 weeks that it starts, right? Because I remember we were on our way to a doctor's appointment and I used a restroom in the hall on the way there. And I was in the bathroom and I'm like, someone is eating a cinnamon roll in this building and it's making me sick. Suddenly my sense of smell got really sharp. And that lasted for a while. So something, I'm sure you know this, but some things that help would be never always have a little something in your stomach. A lot of people I know would keep crackers in their nightstand and have one before you get up. I know Christina P. I think they're called Preggy Pops. Those helped her quite a bit. And it's just candy that is has a sour taste. So some kind of sour candy or something that you can suck on can be distracting. What helped me a ton is a medication called Diclegis. It's prescription. I would see if your OB can prescribe it. It's just it's vitamin B and the medication that's in Unisom, which is over the counter. So if you Google it, you can cobble it together over the counter too. Diclegis just happens to be prescription, but it did help me quite a bit. And I think ginger, I know Mary Catherine Ham is helped by ginger. I think she has really bad morning sickness. In terms of having a life for the next 9 months, I would say don't put pressure on yourself to do that. Just get through each stage you're in. For some people, morning sickness lasts the whole pregnancy. That's rare. I hope that's not you. but one thing I will say is that, and I don't even know if this is true, but it might be, morning sickness can be a sign of like a good, healthy, strong pregnancy because the hormones are rising in the right way to make you feel sick. So there's that. But completely lost my train of thought. Daniel, what was I going to say?
I don't know. I fell asleep.
Another happy listener. I know it was something. It was something. Oh yeah. So, it might go away around, like between 12 and 14 weeks, if I'm remembering the weeks correctly. So I say the first trimester is the most nauseating. So, and also if you don't already have another child, which it sounds like you don't, take this opportunity to sit on the couch, lie on the couch if you need to, fuck around on your phone, watch TV, because your life is going to change.
Yeah.
So just be comfortable. It's like morning sickness to me felt like the world's worst hangover and also a flu. And it wasn't just in the morning. So yeah. And then in your second trimester, when you're feeling better, get back to your life. Danielle, anything?
No, I mean, you're the expert.
I really am. You're in good hands, Julia. Congratulations again. Here's a short little message. Let's see what this is.
Hi, Alison. This is Lynn Moynihan from the famous Bastille Day jailbreak song from, I think, like 5 weeks ago. It is going okay. I've been in therapy again for probably 5 weeks, but I think my therapist is an anti-vaxxer and I don't really like it. So I've got anxiety about trying to break up with her, but I guess we'll see. Thanks. I hope you guys are great. This is Lynn Moynihan. Bye.
Remember the song that Wendy and Dave made up, the first Patreon song they did? So good. And it was about the action turned on Lynn Moynihan.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. One last Bastille Day. That would be hard if you have such a like fundamental value difference with your therapist. I have broken up. I broke up with one therapist. And I was nervous about it because they really hold the cards. And I felt like she'd be like, oh, this is just so you. Even she didn't talk like this, but I felt like it was going to be like, this is so you. You're doing this because X, Y, blah, 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 blah. And then I'd have to just be like, okay, but I'm still leaving. But I told her on email that I fired her on email. But that was how we... how we set up appointments and things. I thanked her for everything. And I said, but I felt like it might not be the right fit. Or maybe I said it a little more strongly than that, but I felt like it wasn't the right fit. I started by thanking her for all of her help, but I feel like it's not the right fit, but thank you so much. And if I change my mind, I'll let you know. And she was super gracious. Even though as a therapist, I hadn't felt she was, but she was super gracious and she wrote back and she said, that she understands, but she's happy to discuss if I would like to discuss. And I did not want to, but anyway, so I think hopefully it'll go more smoothly than you think.
It's hard because it's like it feels like you're breaking up with somebody.
Yeah.
But you're paying them and you deserve to have somebody that, represent your values or just is it the right fit? I mean, it doesn't even have to be something concrete. Mm-hmm. It's like
it's a vibe.
Well, I did have something concrete, but like I broke up. I mean, I went to one session with a therapist and was immediately like, this guy is not the therapist for me. And then I was like, oh, how do I tell him? Whatever. And, and then he was totally fine with it. And
Did you tell him?
Well, see, that's the thing. I was just like, you can't really do therapy right now. I just makes you feel sorry. But, maybe in the future. But, thank you for your time, whatever. And you can, and now in hindsight, I was like, I could have just, not only could I have been direct, but I could have ended it halfway through the session. Mm-hmm. I knew halfway through the session, like, oh, this is a waste of time. This guy, I'm trying to be as diplomatic here as possible. It's like,
you don't have to be diplomatic. You're not saying his name.
Yeah, this feels weird. Like,
okay.
But it's like, not for me. not what I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, you're just sitting there being polite.
Right.
And it's like, this is their job, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Just be, you know what? This isn't, thank you for your time, but not a good fit.
You could say what this guy that I dated in New York said. I just don't see this one going the distance.
Yeah.
I'm joking. Don't say that.
But the thing is, you can say whatever you want. It doesn't matter. They deal with it all the time.
Yes. Yes. All right, Lynn Moynihan, we've fixed you. We've solved your problem.
You're welcome, Lynn.
I'm still negative. Just negative, getting negativer. I mean, I'm talking about both my attitude and my test. So, there you go. Listen, you guys, thank you so much for listening. And I'm sorry that this was not, I aim to put out the world's best podcast every week. And I would say 99.999% of the time, I exceed my own expectations. It's a pretty good podcast if I do say so myself. And
Well, at least someone's saying it.
Hey, man, if you can't say it, how can you expect someone else to say it?
Yep.
So this one was weird and possibly a bummer. But it had bean news. And we've never done that before.
So,
and it also had my son.
Yeah. So you're welcome.
I'd like to remind you. There's so many things I could remind them of. You know what I'm going to remind you of? I have a book out. And I recently was looking at it. And I was like, this is pretty good. It's better than I remember.
You should write a novel.
I know.
Or
a novel.
Or a book. Sorry. A book.
Another book.
Well, yeah, but a book that's not a collection of.
Yeah, I know.
Shorts. I mean, they're very good. It's like reading Dave Barry's. I used to love those Dave Barry books,
Yeah.
But.
No, I know. I should, write something long form. Like a memoir.
But funny. In your voice, in your funny voice.
As opposed to what?
Your bummer voice. Don't do it in,
Have
when
you
you're
read
writing.
Have you read my writing before that's in bummer voice?
I live it. And I'm saying,
That's in
don't.
Bummer Vetica?
When you're writing your book, don't get yourself into your normal bummer persona. Get yourself into funny Alison persona.
I actually
read that.
I had that realization because I think that sometimes when I sit down, I'm like, I'm going to write literature. And I realized no one is gonna no one sits down no one wants to feel yicky when they read. You be the person that someone is like, I want to spend 300 pages with that person.
We don't make comedy or being funny something we don't treat it with seriousness in this culture.
Mm-mm.
So you think I'm gonna be writing real literature or something, I'm gonna be serious, and it's like, no, if you're creating something, it's got to be full of be done with a joyful spirit. And for me, I can say I get more into that joyful spirit if I'm being silly or funny, at times. It doesn't have to all be trite or light or anything like that, but I have more fun with it. And if I'm having more fun with it, then I think it's going to be generally better.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you.
But it's just as
I don't
serious.
agree with you, but I disagree with you.
Let me just tell you the story of a man named Stanley. And Stanley wanted to be, his name was Stanley Lieber.
Stanley Mutzner.
Stanley Mutzner. So his name was Stanley
Mutzner.
Burr. And he wanted to be a serious writer and write the great American novel, et cetera, et cetera. He found himself in a job where he was editing comic books. And so he created a pseudonym, which was Stan Lee. And he wrote a bunch of stuff that was silly and stupid and, with the help mostly of his artists who didn't get enough credit. But he always he didn't think that it was serious work that he should be proud of. I mean, he had an ego, but it wasn't his life's work. He was always going to write a novel, and that was going to be the thing. Well, Stan Lee created the fucking Marvel universe along with some artists that, you know, he didn't do it on his own. But like his life's work that he didn't take seriously, that was like trite for kids, is basically our entire culture right now.
Maybe my life's work is this podcast.
I mean, think of it. Our whole fucking culture is goddamn Marvel, and this guy never like thought that it was worth taking
That's like
seriously.
you and Beanz.
Beanz is my life work. One day I'll be synonymous with Beanz. There'll be a giant statue of me looking down at my bean children, promising a new bean-friendly world.
Yeah.
And some boring podcaster will be going, he didn't think it was all that serious when he was doing it.
Right.
Did you know that?
Yeah, and now Beanz is our culture.
We got the
Beanz
Beanz,
is our culture.
the Beanz cinematic universe.
Yeah, we got the Beanland opening up.
The incredible Pinto, I don't know,
coaster. Anyway, buy my book, Tropical Attire and Courage and Other Phrases That Scare Me. And also, a new way that I say also that people can climb up my ass about.
Jesus Christ. Tony, take that out.
Tony, leave it in. Tony, who do you answer to?
I tried, folks. Tony, everything before this point, take it out.
Tony, ignore him. Oh, yeah. Would you like to... I bet you're wondering, how does she do the podcast? What equipment does she use?
How does she do it?
Maybe she's born with it. Maybe she uses Shure microphones.
The modern woman can't have it all.
She can't. Anyway, I'm an Amazon influencer, and I have all these lists set up. I have a storefront, and you can shop my podcast gear, my makeup, home stuff that I use, stuff for Daniel, stuff for the kids, etc. It's just a bunch of stuff that I use and recommend. Amazon.com/shop/Alison Rosen. Amazon.com/shop/Alison Rosen. You guys, we got through it. Please follow me on social media at Alison Rosen on Twitter and Instagram. And you can email us, ariynbfshow@gmail.com, and send in your Just Me or Everyone's. Tweet them to @ariynbf on Twitter. DQ, what about you?
Well, for the discerning Twitter connoisseur, you can subscribe to a little Twitter channel called @DanielQuantz and be delighted with what you discover, how it broadens your mind, how it deepens your thoughts, and it will also tickle your funny bone from time to time. So follow me there. You can follow me at Instagram at Daniel Quantz on Instagram. And just generally, you can close your eyes and put love into the universe, and it will find its way to me. So that's the other way you can reach out to me.
Wow. That's cool.
I worked something out.
So much breathing. so much breathing into the mic.
I am a universe partner.
Oh, are you a universe influencer?
So, universe influencer. So, if you want to support DQ, just think about DQ, and I get a piece of that.
Wow, who knew? Okay, you guys, thank you for listening. I love you. You matter. Goodbye.
Hey, do you know about the Alison Rosen Show? We had a good time, but now we gotta go. Yeah, Alison Rosen is your new best friend.